Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's class video is going to be on the Arcanist. The Arcanist is in the advanced class guide, and it is the book that I don't use hardly any, but there are some good stuff in there. There's feats, spells, and some of the classes are interesting. The thing is the classes in that book are hybrid classes. So they are two classes paired together as more or less a multi-class character build where certain things are smoothed out and added flavor to. If I wanted to do something like that, I'd probably just make a multi-class character, and that's why it doesn't appeal to me as much. But let's dive into the Arcanist. The Arcanist, its parent classes are the sorcerer and the wizard. Its hit dice is a d6. It can be any alignment. You need a high intelligence for your spells, and you need a high charisma for the class abilities. I would also do a high dex just so I'd have a good AC, good reflex, good ranged attack. Your base attack bonus is like that of a wizard, so by 20th level you're only ever going to have 2 attacks. Your best save is your will saves. You're proficient in all simple weapons. You're not proficient in armor because that interferes with your arcane casting. You prepare spells like a wizard, but this is where it gets interesting. You cast them like a sorcerer from the spells you prepared like a wizard. You can apply metamagic feats to the spells you're casting like a sorcerer, so you don't have to pre-prepare a spell with a metamagic feat. It doesn't say you can't pre-prepare a spell with Metamagic feat, but the spell levels required to cast it will be taken up. You start with a spellbook. The spellbook functions like a wizard spellbook. You get 3 first level spells in it, plus your intelligence bonus in spells. And then you gain 2 new spells of the highest level you can cast every time you gain a new level. And just like any other spellbook, you can take scrolls and scribe them into the book to add to this spell list. You get the ability to consume spells. You can burn up some of your spellcasting slots. Say you want to burn up a first level slot. If you burn up a first level slot for that day, you can recharge your arcane reservoir equal to the spell level. So if you did a 3rd level spell, you'd get 3 points. Arcane Reservoir is where your points are for your abilities to modify and use some class abilities with this class. The maximum points you can have in your Arcane Reservoir is 3 plus your level. When you rest for the day, for 8 hours rest, then you prepare your magics, you recharge a total of 3 plus half your level in points. You can burn 1 point as a free action to increase your caster level by 1, or your save DC of your spells by 1. You can spend points on arcane exploits, which are sort of your abilities or powers related to your class. And they're unique. You can pick them as you wish. I don't think there is a level on the regular exploits that would hamper you from taking any of them. Arcane exploit, the DC on any that give a save is 10 plus half your level plus your charisma modifier. The first one I picked for level 1 was Flame Arc. It's a 30-foot line. It'll do a d6 plus my charisma bonus and fire damage. There are other elemental options as well. This is just the one I picked. At level 3, you get Arcane Exploit again. Between 1, 3, and 5, the even numbered levels, you don't gain anything in the class other than a little bit more spells in your book, and maybe your save or your attack bonus goes up a little bit. So, jumping back to level 3, Arcane Exploit. Dimensional Slide is the one that I picked. It allows you to move 10 feet per level as a 5-foot step. Think of it as Dimension Door, where it's instantaneous, and it just uses a 5-foot step action. So at 3rd level, I could move 30 feet So I could get behind somebody, I could get away from somebody by a 30 feet jump just by using a 5-foot step action. At level 5 Arcane Exploit, I took a counter spell. I can use one slot higher than the spell being cast at me and make a roll to counter it. Well, I think it's automatic. If it's not, you get a big bonus to make the roll counter. Or you can cast a spell at the same level as it, burn a slot at the same level as it to get a +5 bonus to counter it. The feats I picked for this class. The first one was Extra Arcane Exploit. I took Energy Shield. Gives you resistance 10 when you activate this ability to one specific energy type when activating it. And lasts 1 minute per level. Every 5 levels, it gets a +5 to this. I took Scribe Scroll. So if I was human, I'd have that and Scribe Scroll at first level. Now I have backup spells that I can cast when I run out of stuff, or I could trade them with other wizards to increase my spellbook. I took Craft Wondrous Items at 3rd level and Craft Wand at 5th level. After that, I'd either take meta magic feats, or if the party needed a crafter, I'd just keep focusing on crafting. But a wand of 50 charges is well worth the cost of a feat. The spellbook contains all 0-level spells. The spells I would pick, and this is not a complete list in the sense of there are some spells that are definitely better. I just used the core rulebook for these spells. I didn't try to dive into the other books. And the other books allow a lot of different flavor options. So I would take Shield and Magic Missile, Shocking Grasp, Sleep. Those would be my core 4 at the beginning. Shield, because it can block Magic Missile, can increase your AC from 1 facing. Magic Missile, because it can hit anything you can see. It can hurt ghosts. Shocking Grasp, because it can set things on fire and it can electrify things standing in water, as well as just shock the hell out of somebody. Sleep will drop a group of weak enemies like goblins, kobolds, and whatnot. I would take Enlarge Person. It's always good to make your fighter bigger. I would take Mount, so traveling was a lot easier for me. I'd take True Strike, so that if I needed to hit something very specific or needed to allow somebody else to hit something very specific, I could do so. I'd take Identify, because it's always good to know what magical items you're finding. I'd take Grease, because a slippery surface will always aid you when enemies are charging down a corridor. I took Hold Portal, so that way if I needed to delay enemies, I could throw that on a door and it'll take them a good bit to get through. And I took Floating Disc so that I could carry a lot more stuff, say raiding a horde or whatever, with me. Level 2, I took Glitter Dust. It's a good counter to invisibility, and it will aid you a lot when it blinds them. I took Web. It's always good to have things get stuck in place. I took Resist Energy, which kind of is the same as the Energy Shield, so I would probably switch this one out with a different spell. So we would say 2nd level, I'd probably take Flaming Sphere. And then I'd also take Protection from Arrows. It is good to have DR versus ranged attacks. And this is how I would build an Arcanist. If you see an Arcanist play, if any of this stuff is interesting to you and you'd like to play one, or if I missed something as you've created one of these yourselves, let me know in the comments below. This is my 1st through 5th level build of an Arcanist. And I'm just going to go through the classes like I have any other book after that. So next week you'll have another class. Until we meet again.